This is the video review of Tobot Athlon Beta. This is the second figure of the first wave of the Tobot Athlon line, and which is like the sequel line of the original Tobot. So instead of having like toe keys, they have these little mind cores. So like this is Athlon Beta's mind, and when that thing transforms, this goes into his chest, and then he's a robot that way. And this thing is a really cool figure. He has some problems with him that really kind of tear him down for me on my mind, but just like on paper, this is a really cool figure. So first off, we have car mode, which rolls very well, and I haven't applied the stickers, so there are some places where it just looks sort of bland, but like with all the stickers, this thing is just gorgeous in the car mode, and it's just a really great, really solid, feels real chunky, and shake it like a baby and nothing's going anywhere, squeeze it, and it just holds together. It's just a great car mode. The first time you transform this guy from robot to car, you will notice some fit issues back here, and that's more of a technique of transforming him. Like what will happen is, okay, so you have this back here for robot mode, then you bring this up, and then you just put it in, then you'll notice that like you'll have issues like here where it looks sort of cracked, like the windshield is under this, and there's just sort of a technique that you'll learn over time to push into place right, and once you figure it out, it just takes a couple of times doing it with your hands to really figure it out. It's hard to explain. Then you won't have any fit issues like that. So to transform this guy, we're going to start by there are these pieces here. They're hooked under here and in here, and so in opposite directions. So you kind of have to twist them to get them out. Like there's a hook there and there's a hook up there. So once you have those out, they'll just sort of sit back here like this. Then we'll pop this out, and then we'll there's some clips right here and tabs up here, and this will just clip onto his back, and it will kind of hold these in place. Like they can still move like this and then move down, but like when they're just in this position, they kind of ratchet into position. They're not going to go down, and so these things are supposed to be like little winglets or like a cape for him or something. Like it doesn't really make sense what they would be, but they look cool and they look like intentional. They're not just like really awful kibble. Like this backpack forms a cohesive whole. Like I can tell what they were doing. It's not just we don't know where else to put them. Anyway, to continue on, we're going to take the wheels here and we're going to pop them out like this. And there's a little clip right here and a little tab on his thigh right there, or on his hip right there. And you want to pop them out of both like that. Then you rotate the wrist onto the top of his arm, and then what you'll do is you'll take the roof of the car here and you'll pop it up. Then you'll take this and you'll pop it up, and that'll cause these things right here to pop up. They're like little seat belts that go over his shoulders or something, and because this is supposed to be a race car. Then you'll take the legs and you'll rotate them down like this, and this joint right here, it doesn't like click in solidly. Like there's no loud click to it. It doesn't seem like it's a strong joint, but it is a lot stronger than the knee ratchets, and so for the most of the time it doesn't come undone unless you're specifically trying to make it come undone. Now, next thing you're going to do is, I really like this bit of transformation here. You take the roof of the car and you fold it into the heel and then press it together, and then you will split the legs like this. And then here you have him, for the most part, in his robot mode. He does have a hold on, something's not even about his legs here. His feet have a problem with him that I'll get into, and his feet are actually the big issue I have with the figure. There he's standing. Now you can see he has this big cavity right here. This is for the mind core, so this will like, and then this will close, and it's like, I am online. And then this is Athlon Beta in his robot mode, and there's some issues with him that I have that aren't so big that I wish were fixed. Like, he has no neck articulation. I don't get why. Like with Athlon Alpha, I understood it because his neck was part of a gimmick that took up most of his chest, but here it's like, you could have put that on a ball joint. That wouldn't have messed with any of the internal mechanics. Also, like, these are really loose. You can fix that problem, but it's annoying that it's like this, and every review I've seen of this has this problem where they're just flopping all over the place. And then his elbow only bends that far, and there's no reason it can't bend farther. Like, the problem is just that they didn't make this cut go down further. Like, I guess it would have made a gap, but like, a gap there's not a problem if it means he can bend his elbow. His legs can, well, while I'm on articulation, his arms can rotate around, not 360, well, 360, but you have to bend them out so they don't bump into this, then go in and out about that far before stuff starts banging into other stuff. You get this, and then for the legs to go forward, back, in, out. And I don't like this ratchet because it takes so much force to pull it out, and then when you have that much force, it skips a bunch of ratchet teeth. And so while I like the number of teeth it has, like there are some good gradation between the points, like there are quite a few detents, it's a little bit awkward to use them. Then you get a couple of ratchet points on the knees here. And then now we're coming to the feet, and the feet are where I have my biggest problem. They move up and down like this far, and normally I'd say, yeah, that's amazing. That means that he can get in some really solid poses, especially because his feet have, for the most part, just a really nice shape that will stay stable. Like, his instep is flat along here, and this extends downward just a little bit, so he has a very stable standing base. But the problem with his feet is that they're on kind of like a double ratchet, like there's a ratchet on this side of the foot and a ratchet on this side of the foot, and it's easy for them to get out of alignment, and when they do, that means that like there's a lot of wobble in how he stands, and sometimes the figure will just, the ratchet will just collapse after it, like what happens is that the stress from or the torsion from one ratchet being one click forward and the other one click back will cause one of the ratchets to give, and then it can't support the weight of the figure anymore, and then it just goes all the way forward if you're in a kind of an extreme pose. And so his feet just have a lot of problems, and they just feel weird, like just the way they bend and stuff. It just feels grimy, even though it's not. The first Tobot figure, or one of the first Tobot figures, Tobot X, had kind of a similar problem with his feet, and I hated him for kind of the same reason. So it's very disappointing to see that problem come back. And these issues, and that issue alone is why I don't like Athlon Beta as much as Athlon Alpha, even though by rights, he should be the superior figure just because he looks a lot more interesting, he has a more interesting transformation, and he has a better, in theory, standing base. It just, so much of him doesn't work as well as it should, even though he is a really nice and really cool looking figure. It's just a couple of tiny bits of his execution ruin him for me. So anyway, this has been a video review of Tobot Athlon Beta. He is a nice figure. If you can look past his faults, or you're just not quite as picky about toys as I am, you will enjoy him because he is a nice figure. Anyway, I review Power Rangers, Transformers, Tobots, Carbots, tons of stuff like that. If any of that sounds interesting, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.